Okay, wait, those lights are super bright. Hello, everyone. My name is Lemise Holworthy, your tattooed lady for the babies. And outside of how nervous I am super excited because I'm sitting in a room full of some of the coolest people in the country right now. So big shout out to you guys. For those of you guys that don't know why we're here, it's pretty simple. We're here because of Ballantines. We're here because of the True Music Boiler Room Fest. And this is a series of events that will be taking place in 8 cities across the whole globe. Now, we're talking 8 cities in the whole wide world, and it is only fair, it is only fitting that we host the one Yamo Jozi, Yamo South Africa, or Namo. And now, because of one of my most favorite ladies, Deben Gogo, we are all here. Today is day 1 of a 10-day program, which is going to be super amazing. But outside of Durban Gogo curating this experience for us, we also have Ayanda Mhlongo, one of the coolest kids in the game, and of course, superstar Yarona Busiswa. So I'm going to welcome the ladies, and I'm going to ask you guys to please keep your masks on where applicable, or where possible, rather. Sanitize, social distancing, and for those of you guys at home, please know that we've done our part. We've sanitized, we're keeping it safe, but most importantly, we are here to have fun. We're here to celebrate South African music and how far it has come. So can the ladies, they'll be joining me on our In Conversation series nyana for today. Please join me. Guys, ba papateleng matsogo bathong. Hello, baby, how are you? La bona le ka outfit. Ladies, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks.
One, you guys look so cool.
Oh, shout out.
Effortlessly so. But guys, Roshotaka Mike one, do the right thing.
I'll try my best, though.
Now, there's no denying that there's only a handful of people that have not only penetrated, but absolutely killed the international scene, right? We're talking about the late Yuma Sekela, the late Mamiri Makeba, Letambuli, Ladysmith Black Mambazo, Black Coffee, to name a few. But there's also no denying the impact that Amapiano has right now. There is no denying how every day a brand new star is birthed, but also not how great Amapiano is doing in South Africa alone, but across the globe, right? And we have women such as Deben Gogo, who I love, my
Yes!
Now we have women like you, who've played a really big, you've played you've done your part. You've done your part in not only living Amapiano, but also just no man raibona. We see the passion, right? But I want to know, before Rakole, when you hear Amapiano, just the word alone, what comes to mind?
I always say, for myself, when you hear Amapiano, you just hear culture, freedom, livelihood, dance, cool. Amapiano people are like really cool.
Effortlessly.
Effortlessly.
Ayanda, you?
I think for me, it's raw, and I think it's the most favorite part of the music genre for me. Is that it's just so raw, it's crisp, it's real. And I think for me, that's what Amapiano is, it's what it stands for when you listen to it. It's exactly what it is. It embodies rawness, real. Yeah.
Now, Busiswa, I mean, I know you, I know you, energy, but you've done the transition so well. And having worked with some of the greatest in the world, I mean, we're talking Beyonce, baby. We are talking Beyonce. I want to know, one, how easy or maybe even difficult the transition was, and also why. How you found yourself on an Amapiano beat.
So I'm a South African youth, through and through.
Yeah.
So whatever is making my country people move, it's making me move too. It's very much personal. You know, I don't have less love for Gqom. I don't feel like I don't belong in any dance genre in South Africa, actually. So whenever South African youth are moving, you know what I mean? It was Kwaito at some point, and then Afro House, and then Afro Tech, and then, you know, and then Gqom, and now we're here with Amapiano. It's a natural progression, and a very welcome progression, because it's not a progression that is only helping individuals shine, new individuals that were not in the industry before, but it's also helping young South Africans as a whole. Like, you're looking at literally the 3 females on here, probably all have teams, you know, that have to take care of their businesses. Every single individual that makes it in Amapiano has to make it with a team one way or another. So we're all growing together. So naturally for me, if it's making people dance, whether we are chukucha or we are ihlukuhla, whatever that you're doing, as long as you're dancing, the natural progression for me is always to take part in whatever's making South African youth move, and that always makes me move personally.
I like that. I also like how you mentioned Kwaito and all those other genres, right? And in my opinion, like, politics aside, Amapiano is a subgenre of house music, but there's no denying the influence that Kwaito has on it. There's no denying the influence that jazz has on it, that house has on it. So, Devin Gogan, I'll ask you this. As a DJ, you know, as someone that started out by playing house music, and now you are probably one of the biggest household names when it comes to Amapiano as a movement, how important is differentiating? How easy was it for you? And also just why the transition?
Differentiating what exactly?
The different subgenres of house music.
I think it's very important to know what each thing is, because each subgenre of house has pioneers in it, has people that are growing in it, people that have been there. Yeah, and it's very, very broad. It would be a disservice to just put it under just one thing. I mean, it was a debate that we had a while ago with the Summers, trying to put like even Kwaito, group everything
one
together.
box.
Yeah. So you have to give recognition where recognition is due. The transition, I don't even like really remember how it happened, because I started playing a lot of old school soulful house. Then there was a Gqom era and a lot of that commercial house era. But then in Pretoria, there was like Pusha's Goroko, like those vibes were coming out. And to me, that was where I sort of started hearing, you know, Amapiano come in, because obviously Pretoria, we had Broken Beat, we had Reggae. Bacardi was not as popular at the time. Obviously, it's making a comeback now in Amapiano. But even my old mixes, you'll hear start of house, middle of Gqom, end of piano. And I still don't even know how I managed to fit that into an hour set.
Your boss.
Yeah. And then I think one day I just stopped completely. I think, yes, actually, before the pandemic, that Motor Cafe set that's on my YouTube, that's literally how it happened. I was playing 2 hours. I played an hour of old school and a bit of Gqom, then I played an hour of piano. So I think it was sort of actually even just the pressure of the environment, the time slots. Yeah. Now people are like, hey, can you please play Yanos? And it's like, okay, it's fine. I'll play the Yanos. And it's like, okay, I don't see a lot of women playing the Yanos. Like, it's just men. All the women are on vocals, you know? And it's like, okay, let's start from the ground. Let's do the work. Let's get into it. And that's
now, you mentioned, you know, each, be it genre, subgenre, having pioneers of that genre, right? And you also mentioned there not being enough women, especially when it comes to Amapiano. But before we get into that, because I feel like that's a really important conversation that needs to be had, I want to know, like on a lighter note, Busisa, what was the first Amapiano song that you heard?
on radio, I'd say it was. I'm sure, Fumba. I'm sure. And then I'm like, hey, well, it's Kwaito making a comeback. What am I missing here? Oh, I'm sure that. But I was mesmerized, I'll give you that. So I was definitely like, is it a Kwaito? Is it a deep house? Is it a...
Yeah, something.
What is this one?
Yeah.
But I definitely was mesmerized. I was so happy because I actually later on got to meet Kabza and found out that he was doing that same kind of music for like 10 years before that song broke out on radio. And that's magical for me. I mean, after that song came in, because now there were a lot of amapiano beats that had no vocals. Now everybody's trying to get a vocal in because now radio is feeling it, you know. But yeah, I think that was the very first song. But very quickly after that, you know, we woke up one day and that's all that was playing on the radio.
Right?
Right.
Gogo, your first amapiano song that changed your life.
I actually think we were at the same party together that day. It was all white in Mamelodi. And I think that's the day I realized, no, man, this song is big.
Yeah.
Quish, what's the name of that song?
Gong, 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 gong.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Do you guys remember that song? Why are you guys so quiet? Do you guys remember that song? Yeah, no, gong, gong.
December.
I don't even think that's the name of the song. Does anyone know what the name of that? It's Katine. Yeah, no, I've actually got goosebumps. That song was major. Ayanda.
I think an amapiano song that changed my life was Scorpion Kings, Labantwana Mauba. Was it that one?
It's not Scorpion.
Abantwana, no, sorry, Abantwana.
Abantwana Mauba.
Yeah, the singing one.
By Tata, by Fage Makeleni, by User, not that?
No.
Which one?
Amantobazane, sorry.
The one with something Soweto?
Yeah.
You know
why?
Yes. Yes.
It was amazing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
To have a vocalist that's known for creating soul, calm music, giving us a song that bangs. And I felt like it was the first amapiano song where we could sing along driving in traffic. You could sing along in the club sweating.
Yeah.
You could like jog and still sing along. Like that song changed my life.
Something Soweto really also created a very nice blueprint.
Yeah.
I was about to
I
say.
mean, shout out to Something Soweto.
Yeah. Yeah, it did.
Now, you know how, wait, guys, because now I haven't heard Umshove in such a long time. I think it's only fair that we play Umshove and get people going.
Baba Machaivane. Oh, you
Basiphelele baba. Asiphelele. Ekhosi. Awukhuze labantwana. Hey, basiphelele asiphelele baba. Sathi mbote. Siphuthe moyeni. Siphuze. Asiphelele.
Can I have two ladies or trinyana? I think also, guys, there's no denying the dances that come with amapiano, right? So, can we have like two or trinyana people just come up and show the world our signature piano dances? Our Zazise. Guys, come on, just three. Uzi's, because you're like the dancer. You're like the dancer. jealous. Guys, give her flowers. Now, you know, one of my most favorite things about Amapiano is, right? One, outside of how South Africans use music to express themselves, we also use dance to express ourselves. But I feel like Amapiano has made it so much easier for the average Joe who's got 2 left feet to dance along. Like, there's no way that you can't do this. No way. No way. Right? So a big shout out to you. You are gorgeous, just by the way. A big shout out to each and every one of you sitting in the crowd. You guys, little famata, man. This is fun because of you. It's fun because of you. Now, Gogo, earlier on, you mentioned pioneers in a certain, be it genre, subgenre, whatever, right? And we all know that when we talk of Amapiano, the first names, big names that come to mind, MFR Souls, Kabza the Small, Maporisa, Calvin Fellow. No, I'd mention Durban Gogo for a reason. And I need your take on this. For the longest time, flowers were given to just men. And the only time you'd know of a woman in the Amapiano space is when she'd be singing on it, right? Fast forward to 2022, you have some of the biggest songs in Amapiano. But outside of you, which other woman do you think deserve the props that they're just not getting?
I mean, such a difficult question because other people would be like, we feel like they are definitely celebrated. But I think you guys need to give Kamu so much more. So much more. You need to give Shasha so much more. Aglaleli was the most sought after song ever. In the Amapiano space, I have never, like, even DJs, we were begging, like, we need that song. I will never forget how sought after that song was. And that's when people started chopping songs up and releasing 1-minute snippets, and DJs would play it. Women in this place, I really, really love what Uncle Waffles is doing. I'm really, really proud of her. It's such a juxtapose that you have Amapiano men in the scene who've been doing it forever, and then on the other side, women are getting other opportunities of being in the scene and coming through in a different way, in a different angle. But then there'll always be that argument of, yeah, do they deserve, they just dance or whatever. It's like, what do you even mean? Anything must be celebrated every way that we see it.
I love how you mentioned dance, right? Because,
Yeah.
I mean, Libone Lilona.
Yeah.
There is no talking Amapiano without dance. Are you even South African if you can't do this? So, Ayanda, one, outside of just how creative South Africans are, how important are these dance moves when it comes to Amapiano?
That's such an interesting question. I'm in the back end of music, in the music business, and I can tell you everything we do is quite dependent on how people express themselves through Amapiano, which is dance being the biggest mode. But if we actually look at like the biggest viral tracks, it's because people were dancing. Uncle Waffles is I'm obsessed with her, right? And it took a 20-second clip of her dancing to have the whole world dancing like her. And so like, dancing is embedded in who Africans are in general. It's how we express ourselves. And therefore, when we create music and we sell music and we produce music and we export music to other countries, we actually do it much faster, much better through dance. We have platforms like TikTok, right? Where people in Japan who could dance better than me. I mean, I can't dance, but who can dance better than a lot of South Africans, right? Using our dance moves. And I think that we're able to kind of connect worlds and connect countries and connect cultures and people together through dance. Music just happens to encapsulate all of that together. So, like, dancing is the blueprint of who we are. It's how we express ourselves. It's how we sell, what we do. But it's also how we celebrate each other. Like, she was dancing right now, and everyone was losing their shit, right? Because, like, it's exciting to see someone else dance. So, like, for me, it's super important.
Now, I also love how Amapiano has grown. Yeah. Like, from Dinakotsa Umshove, where they literally just singing about
Ogumshov.
Mbali. Mbali abantu. to how musical it has become, to how, like you mentioned earlier on, you could be listening to an Amapiano song and the lyrics are just so beautiful and it makes you want to fall in love. Or the lyrics are so heartbreaking and you're just like, Nana tula, hutoloka. You know, I'm broke, but it's okay because this song is comforting me. How important is that, Busiswa, as an artist? Like, to just write meaningful shit and things that people can relate to.
I'm going to take it back to the question you asked Durban Gogo about how girls are not taking up space in popular, genres in South Africa, yes. But I'll be specific with Amapiano. I don't know a single Amapiano female producer. And it's a problem. And the reason why it's a problem is because if females found more ways to occupy that space, we would definitely find far more meaningful things. I don't know, I love men, okay, but but not that much. But if there were more females producing, writing, occupying the compositional side of a lot of our popular music, I think we'd be able to find an even broader perspective of topics. Yeah. I mean, all guys think about is umshove. Let's be honest. Let's just tell the truth. No, I'm not hating, but you know what? We definitely, it's not like a side note that, the females are just vocalists and they want... Yes, females want the glam side of things and the red carpets and the costumes, but we definitely need more females expressing femininity and feminism and softness and the lush side of, you know what I mean? Not all the time, yeah, it's cool, but you know what I mean? But there's the females that are taking the Ubers. They have something to say as well. Where is that? Where is that perspective? You know what I mean?
I agree.
The ones that have the credit card. You know what I mean? Where is that girl? You know what I mean? What's she got to say about this Uber situation? Yeah. So, it's not it's a very important conversation, and I'm glad we're having it in a space like this where it's Bram and it's the heart of creative, it's the heart of creation of popular dance culture in South Africa. Yeah. And I definitely think that if we could just find ways to include and involve and develop more females in the space, the perspective would be far broader. And for someone like me, I like meaning, I like connecting with people with my words. I like being relatable, but also I like wordplay. It's just what I enjoy. Yeah. I'm just one person though. And I can't be the only one who's able to do that. You know what I mean? In popular dance culture, you know what I mean? There is, I believe there is a myriad of unexplored lyricism within, the piano space. That's why I big up someone like Something Soweto, because he definitely creates a blueprint and then a lot of people will follow it and do it very well. True. So true. I'm definitely one of those people who's like, you know what? Let's have fun that has no particular meaning sometimes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's not that serious. Yeah, no, true. We're just trying to dance. Speaking of, but fun, sometimes... Can we do the other side? I agree. Angelic is a perfect example of that. Love him. Angelic has written really meaningful songs, especially for Black South Africans, for young Black South Africans, outside of just it's a party. He writes about the before the party, when I'm asking my baby to get dressed, get ready, look nice, let's go. So I think there's still a lot to explore with the lyricism. As much fun as we're having, and that's what we want to do. It's very important to have fun. Sure. But I think there's a big space for meaningful lyricism in the genre that is not yet explored. To be honest with you, I think that some of the internationals that are taking Amapiano for themselves and creating, they are taking the lyricism side more seriously than a lot of the South African artists. We need to get into that, right? But before we do, because it's getting really serious, a lot of English. Let's just focus on the fun side for a little bit. Do you guys remember John Vooligate?
till this day, I don't know what that song is about. But it's provocative. It got the people going. DJ. No, I vule. Now, I feel like a really important conversation that we need to have is how, guys, I love Amapiano, and I'm going to tell you why. For the longest time, there were just too many gatekeepers. For the longest time, if you didn't know the right person, it would be so hard for your music to blow up. It would be so hard for your music to be played on radio. Now, the one thing that I absolutely love about Amapiano is how hard they've made it to gatekeep. Is how, if your shit is hot, your shit is hot. If you're hot and the streets are reacting to it, then these big houses, media houses, have no choice but to play your stuff. We look at social media, right? And, you know, as dark and toxic as social media can be, it can also be really powerful. It's a really powerful tool. And because of social media, because of apps like TikTok, we've seen so many songs and so many fresh faces blow up. I want us to discuss that. I love how every other week, guys, there's a brand new song in the club. There's a brand new artist. There's a brand new producer. And it is so hard for the world to ignore it. Like I said, if you're hot, you're hot. Can we discuss that?
I want to know from Ayanda, very interesting, because I'm an artist, she's in broadcasting. How does that play out for you in your offices? Because as the songs are definitely blowing up on the streets. Major labels are no longer controlling what is the biggest song at any point. Radio is not even controlling it. However, they're just feeding off of what the streets are bringing through. What's the conversation in the office?
That's a good question.
I always get shocked.
And how do we become part of that conversation constantly?
That's a loaded question. Okay, when I was at MTV, I think, firstly, Amapiano, just to give context, changed how we managed music channels, right? It's like, imagine waking up one day and you're used to working 2 weeks in advance and programming and scheduling content, and then you find out, actually, tomorrow Lamise could blow up, so you must leave space in case the Lamise blows up the next day. But what it also allowed the industry to do, it actually opened up. If you look at the current music compilers at different music channels, not only on television, on radio, for example, on different podcasting sites, even on DSPs, it's now your everyday South African that just love music. So when you speak about gatekeeping as an artist, Amapiano actually removed gatekeeping from an industry, which means that now we have a Durban Gogos from Pretoria. She knows everything about Bacardi. We know it's the next multi-million rand genre that's coming up. We're gonna go fetch her to come join our team. And she's gonna help us compile the best playlists on our channel. So it kind of tipped everything, or put it upside down, but also it really forced us to have conversations outside the office. We were now discussing, we wanna create this new show, actually, I need to go to Pretoria to see Durban Gogo to be like, yo, I've got this new show idea. What kind of music can I add on it? Can you help me, etc.? Who are the other Amapiano DJs, compilers, vocalists that we can actually put on our channel? So I think that it's a very radical genre. It's a very different genre, but it's really forced us to think outside the box. We don't have our Monday morning meetings and say, radio monitor, give us the top 10 songs played, and that's our top 10 playlist. We don't have that anymore, you know? It's kind of opened up the industry. I mean, before I left, we had different young people coming to our office saying, here's my music video on a USB, play my song. Before we would say, put it in a box, next week Thursday we'll have a look. Now we run out. There's a guy at reception, okay, cool, let's play the song now. And you're like, fuck, that's a banger. Put that on the channel, you know what I mean? But also, what we struggled with a lot was that, and I'm talking about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, it wasn't formalized. So someone's got a banger song, it's got a really dope video. There's no ISRC code. Now I can't put the song on. They don't know what that is, etc. So I think when we look at the progression from 2 years ago to where we are now, it's one of the most exciting things to happen to our country, or Africa as a whole, is Amapiano.
Do you guys understand just how big Amapiano actually is? Do you understand that Amapiano is proudly and loudly ours? That we finally have something that we can export to the world. And that for me is super important, right? Now, obviously, so having worked with some of the greatest, you know, in the world. I mean, guys, Beyonce, you've worked with the Marleys. How important is telling our story, our way, to the world? Because you mentioned how so many other people from outside are now adapting our sound. And I know there was drama around that. There was drama around the, let's protect Amapiano because it is ours. I am two minds about it, but I want to know from an artist's point of view, how important is it?
My opinion is not based only on Amapiano. It's based on our fashion. It's based on our hairstyles. It's based on our jewelry. It's based on
our art.
On our fine art. The thing about it is that you can't stop a powerful thing from inspiring human beings. You can't stop it.
Yeah.
So in our history, all of African history, all of art has just been stolen.
True.
Possessed and used or displayed, you know, in ways that don't even represent what Africans are or what we actually would make the same piece of art represent, right? So if you have something good going, please understand your neighbor wants to look at that thing and ask themselves how they can get that thing.
Yeah.
The thing that we can be grateful for, or rather ruthless about, is that you are not going to do it without us.
I love that.
You are not going, it's about us, it's going to be with us, and if you do it without us, it's going to sound fugazi. And we'll call you out because we have technology on our side. We are loud, we are proud, we know what we're about, we know what we stand for. We know how our dance moves are supposed to happen. It's not a guara chomi. And anytime you try it, you're gonna look like Jason Derulo trying it on his own. And it's like, But because we have TikTok as well, we have Facebook, we have platforms where you can literally look it up and find the genuineness, and you'll find the authentic ways that all of this is happening, and you have the option of going ahead and trying it for yourself, but it's not going to be the same as when you involve African artists, African pioneers, and then by extension, South African artists and South African pioneers. And I hope that we, as just supporters of the genre, I hope that we will be so loud and so rigorous about taking credit, about making sure they acknowledge the right people. Everybody who is playing. BBC is in South Africa doing interviews on Amapiano. Who are you talking to? Why? You know, Boiler Room is here having a conversation about Amapiano. Call them out if you feel like they are not doing the right thing, because trust me, our collective voice is stronger than it's ever been before in history.
I love that.
As Africans and as South Africans, when Kabza says he's the king of piano, we stand behind that nigga. And we all support rigorously what he's trying. Do you understand? If Durban Gogo says she's the queen of piano, we stand behind this queen. And we, do you understand? And let us not take that for granted, guys, because I will tell you now, they are everywhere in the world right now. Magical, beautiful Amapiano music is coming out from Nigeria, from Ghana, from the UK, from the US. And it's beautiful music, but there's just something missing about it. That's the authenticity that only we can have. And we have to call it out every time, and we have to support our own every time.
I love that.
That was amazing.
Our louder guys. You know, you've said everything that we're constantly arguing about. And this is why such conversations are so important. So a big shout out to Ballantines, a big shout out to Boiler Room for making sure that, you know, such conversations are heard outside of just South Africa, but the whole world. The whole world now gets to hear it from South Africans. Because this is South African, by South Africans, for South Africans, to the world.
Amen.
To the world, right? Now, seeing that you guys have performed abroad, I want to know the difference in how people receive Amapiano there and people receive Amapiano at home. I think that's a very important question, no?
I think, you know, they've been at home, they were under lockdown, we kept moving different levels, we were going out, we were sneaking out, we were getting arrested.
You were sneaking out?
Like the general South African public, yes. Not me though.
Of course not.
We were abiding the whole time. So they're seeing us with these videos of these songs, of these dance moves, and they're like, what is this? I've never been outside, hearing it outside. I'm listening to it on my TV, in my AirPods, in whatever. So they're just like, what is actually happening there? This seems so interesting. This is something so new. So everyone has been able to form their own opinion about it. That's why you start to get the debates. Now that everyone's outside, we're traveling, other Africans are now fighting, like, you guys don't support us the way that you guys are supporting this Amapiano thing. But it's like, why are we even fighting each other when we should be supporting and helping each other get ahead? We were there supporting when Afrobeats became a big deal. Yeah, we were there, like South Africa especially. Yeah. All the Afrobeats artists came here first. This is where they actually exported the sound out, you know? So it's interesting to see people's reactions. The tempo is so much slower. So it's like, what's going on? Why aren't we? It's like, no, like, relax. Just enjoy it. Like, you even have to get there and tell the DJs, like, dude, you can't play this at 120. Please just, take it down. Play it the way it's supposed to be. Feel it, enjoy it. I've been seeing Tanzania, Kenya, Ghana especially have been ingesting it really rapidly, getting onto the trends, everything really quickly, and almost the same way that we do. You'll get to the club there and it's 4 hours of piano playing, you know. Nigeria, it's still very much more artists, vocalists. Yeah. They want people to perform. They like a show, you know. DJs, it's very touch and go there. No, oh God, Zimbabwe, no. Zimbabwe is inside.
What about the UK?
Inside. Huh? The what?
The UK?
The UK, I was actually really surprised. The flip that happened there, because even people that stay there, like, it's so different because of the politics that they used to have as artists, DJs, that side, compared to, like, the Afrobeats DJs. And now that things are flipping, you know, even the Afrobeats DJs are now being forced to play Amapiano. But it's like, you have to interpret it the way that we are giving it out. Otherwise, you're going to change it. That's why that whole debate you said earlier happened when people were calling it Afro piano. There's no such a thing. There's no such a
Piano
thing.
is
It's ama piano, yes. So why try take it, change it before it's even been ingested by the rest of the world, before it's been exported the way that it's supposed to be exported? Why not just collaborate? Why are we competing as Africans?
I think the most upsetting part in that conversation is you are now trying to change something that is not yours to change.
Yes, yes.
So, one, like you said, we are still sharing this part of who we are with the rest of the world, and it is unfair for, you know, someone from another country or another place to now take it and try and change it. It is not your story to tell. Or if you are going to tell the story, make sure that you tell it exactly as is. I think that's really important, right? Busiswa, now, having done GOM and, you know, experimented with, you know, so many other subgenres of dance music, why do you think Amapiano is doing, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Amapiano is doing so much better than GOM did in terms of even just how the rest of the world consumes it? Like, we only have a handful of GOM people that were able to penetrate, you know, the international market. Why do you think Amapiano has just switched up the game? And why is it so much easier for Amapiano artists?
I have no idea. You know, the Bible says,
The Bible.
when it's your time, it's your time.
Love that.
I'm not even trying. I don't think there's a science.
I agree.
I don't think there is maybe a lack of creativity and a surplus in creativity. I think that South African music makers have been extremely creative throughout. I mean, from the times of Bojo Mujo to the times of Tembisa Funk to the times of Oskido's Church Grooves, to it goes back. And even with piano, you know, so much influence is being taken from Kwaito, especially from the vocals. I mean, itikezi ivelelwe, they just keep re-arising. You know what I mean? So I think that South Africa has always been ahead. This I'm sure of. When it comes to dance music, South Africa is always ahead of the pack. If you travel to a lot of countries and go to dance or house parties, you'll find that they are playing the house songs from 2014, the South African house songs from 2010 and 2012, and we are always, and please don't doubt this, I think we're speaking so much about how quickly Amapiano is being exported. Please understand that it's not even being exported as fast as it's being created. It's happening so quickly in so many different locations. Also remember, creators are able to make output in like far less equipment than a fancy studio, you know, artists are collaborating. I think a lot of the piano songs have like average seven features average. so you know what I mean? It's the power to collaborate, the reach. It's just a time in music when everything is so much more fluid, that if a song goes viral in one video, you can't release it 8 months later. There are 27 other viral songs on the same TikTok platform. And I think also COVID really showed us who we are, hey? COVID showed that we came out fighting. When it comes, I mean, we grew the music industry, and actually the GDP, that's what I want to say. I think our government doesn't take the music industry seriously enough to even measure what this is doing. And the music industry grew the GDP during the pandemic. And it might be the only industry that did that. And that's a shame. But as much as we're going quickly, the world isn't even catching the wave as fast as the wave is happening.
I like that. But again,
there was a point,
accessibility.
Yeah, there was a point I wanted to touch on when you were saying that it's moving faster than people can even consume it. The pandemic is actually, I think, the tipping point that really happened in Amapiano. It was working harder than any other genre ever. Record labels, offices were closed. People couldn't come in for meetings.
Why do you think that is, though?
What?
Like, I'm glad that you guys are touching on the pandemic. I'm glad that you guys are touching on how Amapiano grew rapidly. Like, it was so hard for the rest of the world to ignore. Why do you think Amapiano, out of everything else, did so well during the pandemic? Or in the pandemic, score?
I just think these kids they are the creators. They are just ready, yes. They are just ready to do whatever. Everyone else, can you help me learn?
The system is offline.
Yes, no.
And then it's fine. Fagaza, where for up now? Data file, all right. The system is offline. All right, Spotify, 6 weeks. Okay, no, it's fine. Tomorrow I'm dropping. You understand? Like, they need to catch up. The systems just need to catch up.
Yeah.
I like that. I think that's a really important point.
I think-
Aya?
From a science perspective.
Science.
No, but I think, we did research as a record label to figure out the big shift. And the biggest shift was that people had more time to consume content without distractions. So we were stuck at home, and you were with your boyfriend, husband, whoever, kids, etc. And you spent so much time at home that alone time was important. But our alone time was always accompanied with consuming some type of content. So therefore, when Durban Gogo dropped a 2-hour mix, I would listen to all 2 hours. Compared to before, when I would listen to 5 minutes, then I must go rush to work, then I must come back, there's an event, I had nowhere to go, right? So I would then sit and stream the music. And then you listen and you're like, geez, this song is epic. Then YouTube says, here's another track. Then you're like, oh my God, there's more music? Do you know what I mean? Next thing you know, every single day you wake up, in the background, there's 10 hours of Amapiano music playing. Yeah.
Speaking of Amapiano music, there's a song that blew up, and I think it was super amazing. Do you guys remember Lodge? Yeah, Kapsale Maporisa. DJ, do the right thing.
Oh, DJ Lodge. DJ Joe. In the mix. In the mix.
Yababona ngada kabza small uyakhuza ngada cela ukubuza intombi ezila kuthi nazi impilo ela imoto akudala ngitest mina ungazongitesta ngakutesta mina awuhlala ungihlupha uyangitesta wena ngemali engakho ngangithenga wena insimbi akudala ngitest mina ungazokutshela ngakubheja mina ngemali engakho ngangimela mina ngemali engakho ngangithenga wena awuthemba inkosi nabathela bathi doju pasa kamnandi engathi loju themba kamnandi abathi loju pasa kamnandi engathi loju hey abathi loju yebo awuthemba inkosi nabathela bathi doju pasa kamnandi engathi loju themba kamnandi abathi loju pasa kamnandi engathi loju hey abathi
Hello, everybody. Are you guys still good? Do you have a drink in your hand? Oh, wow, shorter. Guys, here's a trick. When the music plays, that is your chance to go top up. But I feel like, one, it is such an honor to sit on this table, this very small table, with women that have done amazing things for the culture, and just shifting it and making sure that people give not only the genre but women the recognition that they deserve. Now, a question that I have, and I need you to be brutally honest. Do you ladies think that women are held in a different regard in the Amapiano space? And if so, why? Oh, okay. That was quick.
Let's not make the mistake of thinking that's an Amapiano genre issue. Who are South Africa's hip-hop women?
There's literally two.
Yeah, count them on one hand. No, I'm joking.
That's tricky.
The biggest female DJs. I mean, there's definitely an influx happening now, but there's also definitely a lot of resistance happening about it. That's not an Amapiano issue. That's not genre specific. In the South African music industry, it is very, very simple, in my opinion. It goes hand in hand with the levels of crime in this country. Women can't be out touring the way guys can, alone, for example. You know, women can't be traveling all over the corners of the country and really making that impact, you understand? Men will never get to understand what it's like to fall pregnant when you have 3 hits on rotation, because they never do. So every now and then, our natural state as women, you know, calls for us to take a break sometimes. But also, besides that, it also then means it takes women much longer to come into themselves as artists, because women are just not encouraged. Actually, let me be more specific. Young black girls are just not encouraged to be creatives, to be artists. They're encouraged to be useful. They're encouraged to be handy. They're encouraged to even be beautiful and pretty. Decorate yourself, baby girl. But work hard. It's not a must. And the industry requires you to work hard. So that's not it's not even a genre, you know, specific issue. I think there's no active, you know, programs, campaigns to empower women to go into the entertainment industry to start off with, but also just as a socio-economic issue of the way black girls are raised. No one is encouraged to stay out until midnight when boys can come and go in their own homes as they please. Do you understand? So even that, like, those are issues that are not specific to the genres. But I will add, though, that definitely when you are in the music industry, you're encouraged to be as sexy, as pretty, as frontline, and as presentable as possible. Women, most of the time, are not allowed to come as themselves, and that is above size 32, or don't wear a weave, or you don't like heels. You know what I mean? There's that certain projection that's just blanketed over women in the music industry in general, and I'm so glad that there are so many women who are just like, no, we're gonna do it as ourselves, and this is how it's gonna go. It's like it's very small right now, but it's definitely happening, and we can see that even now, we can name more than 2 female artists at a time. You know what I mean?
You know, for the longest time, when I started DJing 10, 11 years ago, there's literally just 3 women who are DJs. And, I mean, we're talking Zintle, Sindo, Tobbs, right? Oh, and Lady Leah. So for the longest time, it was a male-dominated industry. But I stood my ground. I was just like, 1, do not call me a female DJ. I am a DJ. I do what you do, and chances are I do it better than you do, right? So that is super important. For the longest time, and I know that Mandisa, you can relate, we have men, or even women, who will say, you're a DJ, you have so many tattoos, you're out until the wee hours of the morning, you're always dancing, you're in, who's gonna marry you? And I'm just sitting here like, hello. Because 1, we are tired of being boxed. I will not have society dictate what I should look like. I will not have society dictate what I should do and how I should do it. And if anything, because of women like you, we have so many young women who are now so much more comfortable in their own skin. We have young women who are able to express themselves through their music, through the way that they dress. I will not have someone tell me that I cannot wear a crop top because I have a big stomach. I will not have someone tell me that I cannot wear shorts because I have cellulite. I will not have someone tell me how I should sing and what I should sing about. So I think that is super important, right? Which now brings me to the importance of collaboration. And I feel like that is not happening enough in the Amapiano space when it comes to women. I feel like we have a lot of men. You go to Kabza's house. You go to Kabza the Small's house, and we have 20 men collaborating on hit after hit after hit every single day. But unfortunately, we don't have the same when it comes to women. And why do you think that is?
So, from my experience in the past few years, even since I started making music, men are also very much a big root of this entire problem, positively and negatively. Positively in terms of, obviously, you're going to want to work with the best, you know. Some people are not willing to take that chance or try let's do the Womandla thing, let's go with it. Dude, maybe a year ago I started an entire album with just women, and till this day I have not received a single song back from even producers, from beat makers. Let's finish the song, can we change the bass line, can we do this, can we do that, these vocals must be here, must be there. It's like, no, I'm working on my own stuff. It's like, okay, sharp, that's a barrier. Men also like to pit women against one another.
Yeah,
you know, when men have beef, they make songs and they make money. When they say, oh, Demangogo Busiswa said this about you, like, whatever. Then it's like, when I see her in the street, I might be like, this girl, what the hell was she saying about me? But I'm never gonna go to her and be like, I must always be like, hey, girl, what's up? Like, sharp. And then it's a beef, but behind closed doors. We're not making money. We're not doing whatever. And it's like, this thing keeps perpetuating over and over and over again. Men also don't try and help us build safe spaces for ourselves so that we can be in that position of power to move forward, you know? It's the most heartbreaking thing, but I know we're going to get it right.
Gogo, I hear you, but in that same breath, I disagree. Because we can't, especially for a woman of as much influence as you have, right? Busiswa, you have a voice, a very powerful voice. And women take what you say seriously. So, and in as sad as, and you know, as true as what you just said, I disagree because I feel like if men do not want me to sit at that table, then it is up to us to build our own. We can't use men and how unsafe they make it for us and how they close doors and how hard they make it for us when we are in positions to change that. So again, what do you think it is that we're not doing right as women?
No, listen, we're at it.
Are we doing enough?
No, we're not doing enough. It is still male-dominated as an industry. If I make a call out for female house producers tonight, I might get 1 or 2 males from Nigeria reaching back to me. Do you understand? And I know I don't know how to produce. And I know that I can empower females and maybe even grant them that safe space to record freely and to also release freely without strings attached, without bums being slapped, without bums clapping at all. You know what I mean? So, but as much as I can do that, remember that because it's a male-dominated industry, if I want to smash tomorrow, though, I'm calling Maporisa. You know what I mean? If I'm thinking of off the top of my head, I need a smash, who can I call? I'm calling them Tudor. Do you understand? It is still a male-dominated industry. And if anything, guys, that you remember me saying, like, tonight, it's this, right? As women, as girls, we can't possibly wait until men are ready to make space for us. It is not possible. There will never come that time. They like it when we do other things and not other things. You know what I mean? Don't want to go into detail, but we can't possibly wait for guys to be fine with why are you wearing this outfit while you're DJing? Why is your mixing like this? I mean, I know that even recently, you know, female DJs have come under so much fire for their mixing skills. Nobody is asking. Even the last guy who played a song here, did anybody question his mixing skills? No. But if a female is standing there, someone might come and start tampering with the desk.
Now that is
you
where
know
I
the story.
disagree.
You know the story.
I disagree.
No, you know the story.
No, baby, listen.
Let me ask you a question, Lemise.
Yes?
How many times have you gotten into a club as a headline act and guys have gathered around you to assist you with something on the desk? Is this a story you're unfamiliar with?
Oh, no, they've tried, but I stand my ground.
Ala, ala.
Now, look, this is where it is super important, right? You can go DJ in a G-string for all I care. As long as you are mastering your craft and you are taking and making the time that is needed to perfect your craft, then do you. But now, and this is why a lot of...
Is that what you expect from guys as well?
I expect
Any
it from
guy who mixes two songs together gets in front of us and starts mixing.
I expect it from anyone.
Anyone grows within. All I'm saying is to start is made so difficult for girls because you're being undermined at every angle. Do you understand? We all know a neighbor, a brother, a cousin, a guy friend who is a DJ, even though they are not that good at it. Yeah. But when the females are entering the chat, we want to talk about perfecting the craft. That's the first thing we're trying to... I mean, if she's 19, hey, it's going to take a while. But you know what? At least she's starting. At least she's entering the room. At least she's entering the chat.
Fair.
You know what I mean?
Fair. But in that same breath,
Yeah.
for anyone, whether male or female, and this is why I mentioned earlier on that I am not a female DJ.
Yeah.
I am a DJ.
Yeah.
I'm a radio host. I'm a TV presenter. I'm not a female radio host.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
So for me, if anyone is going to make money off of something, the least you can do is make sure that you do it well.
That's right.
That is all that I am saying, and I
That's
think that is
right.
only fair.
Yeah.
Right? Now, speaking of women and how I feel like we're not collaborating enough. We're not working together enough. And you, Durban Gogo, you mentioned earlier on how men, or just the world in Jay, puts women against each other.
Yeah.
Like, they make it seem like there can only be one it girl. They make it seem like the room is only big enough for one star. And if there's one thing that my mom has taught me, like, you know, there's an African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together, right? And that for me is super important when it comes to not only just women in the Amapiano space, but women everywhere. You know, we are going, if we want to see a change, we need to do it together. There's only so much that you can do with your voice. Yeah. There's only so much that you can do. And, you know, Mandisa, the one thing that I'm going to give you, because this is probably the one thing that I fight so hard for, but seeing how well you've done it is what you stand for when it comes to body positivity. I love how you have shown young girls that they can wear whatever they want to wear and they will not be boxed, right? So speaking of collaboration, you know, two amazing women who came together and did a really dope song together is Kamompela and Shasha on Ipiano. Oh, yeah. I think it is only fair, because we're talking about amazing women doing amazing things together, that we give you guys an example of the magic that can happen when women come together. DJ, do the right thing.
Heat after heat, the feature. You can't deny. Kuzo tabu itika masfika. You know the vibe. Heat after heat, the feature. You can't deny. I slide like I
You know, I don't like how we had such an important conversation off air. But in that same breath, I kind of understand why certain things cannot be said to the world yet. But I feel like it's really important, you know, that we discuss Amapiano, the creative versus the business. Because sadly, we've seen so many people exploited. We've seen how a song can blow up, and you mentioned this earlier on. You know, there's a song that I want to play on my radio show this coming Saturday. There's nothing. You know, you ask them for publishing rights, and this person doesn't know what you're talking about. So I think it's really important, you know, that we discuss the business side of music, the business side of Amapiano. Aya?
Yeah, I think, damn. I think it's a very important topic, right, that we need to unpack. I think what's really important about the business of Amapiano is that you need to always remember that you can negotiate. And it's not something that we're taught. And I'm going to give you context as a young black female that's in a leadership position in a recording company. For me to get there, I've had to negotiate like crazy, right? So people can see my worth, understand what I'm about, but also understand that I actually know what I'm talking about. What we're not taught, and I'm not even talking about black or just black females, just black people in general, we're not taught to negotiate our worth, right? Sort of kind of like, okay, Lemise, you got the biggest song right now in SA. We'll give you an advance for 100,000, but we want 10 albums. Oh my gosh, 100,000, I can buy like a car, boom, let's go, right? Whereas you could have gotten probably R500,000 for one album. The second part to that is we need to really educate ourselves. And I feel like in the world that we're living in right now, educating ourselves has become so much easier. We're now able to, like I said, come to events like this, for example, Boiler Room and Ballantine's, and kind of mix with people that are in the industry, ask the right questions. But also, we don't have to work in our own little boxes. A very amazing point you just raised that had us figuring out that, you know, Busiso and Gogo have been speaking for a while, is that you don't have to work in a box. You can actually work outside of that. But the most important part about the music industry, and not just in SA, because, for example, my portfolio is for 49 countries in Africa, is that we need to be able to understand what you want out of the industry. Is it a car? Is it a house? Or, for example, is it your master's?
Zonke.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and you also need to understand that you can get all of that stuff. What I can definitely say is that as the people in the behind the scenes of the music industry, we have a lot of work to do to really educate young people about what they can actually get out of the industry. Durban Gogo shouldn't just have to have the #1 selling album, maybe get a car and a house. She should be able to live, for example, until 90 and make millions of rands out of a song she dropped last year. But because we don't speak about that as the music industry, all our dreams or all our goals are kind of short-lived, which is really unfortunate. But for me, education is the biggest thing. We need to know how things work. You need to understand how things work. Split sheets in Amapiano is hell. I'm not sleeping because of split sheets. This person must get 5%, this person must get 45%, this person, then they come back, but why am I getting 3%? And there's a whole science behind that. But if you are at home creating the biggest Amapiano song right now, you have no idea what an ISRC code is. Who must tell you about that? So I think also as us in the industry, we need to really, really take time to educate young people about how to make money from the industry because it's lucrative.
Yeah, I think it's two things. People who do know about that, whoever they are, whether it's other artists that have gone through this process before, but also the people who are making money. That's who must tell you what that is. You know, the labels, the publishing companies, the distributors, nobody is actually trying to tell an artist who enters the game what all is needed from them personally and what they then contribute and how that comes together. You know, very few distributors, labels are actually even informing artists. Like we've established there's no school that teaches you South African music business. The people who should be doing it are the people that are making money from it. And that is not only, and I'm making an actual call out right now. labels, TV channels, radio, distributors, royalty collecting organizations. If that song blows up, you will make money. Tell artists, what are you doing? Where are your campaigns? Where's your CSI programs where you gather a room full of artists and tell them what an ISRC code is? When do you tell them how their royalties are allocated to them? When do you tell them that it's important that from the time you leave the studio, you discuss percentages? On what grounds? You know what I mean? All of these entities are waiting for, which is the great tragedy of South African music. They just wait, I'll take this piece. I'll take this piece, ne? And then, okay, let's shoot a video, piece, and then it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Every single entity, from the TV channels to the radio stations to the distribution organizations, royalty collectors organizations, to the publishing companies, everybody should be creating a platform in which they tell artists what the technicalities are. Because an artist will create a song for you and you'll be ready to take the money you'll make from that song. But it is disgusting that they are not ready to sit down and have active input into informing artists when they know there's no school of music business in South Africa as it is practically out there.
You know, Busiswa, I agree with all that you've said, 100%. But in that same breath, I always say that anyone that has a smartphone doesn't realize just how powerful that tool actually is. And if you want to make money off of your talent, if you want to make money off of your work that you've put so much work into, it is your responsibility to learn all these things. Because unfortunately, you're going to find a record label owner or, you know, the head at the record label or your manager who's going to exploit you. We've seen this happen so many times. So, you know, it's 2022. If you have a smartphone in your hand, that on its own is power. Because you can get all the knowledge that you need to know. All the need to knows in terms of music as a business, in terms of you as a brand. Literally, Google, guys. Yabereka. And also just because, oh yes. Another interesting topic, right, that we should discuss. And I'm saying this because, you know, we see these new kids come up and, you know, you have one big song and you have a big hit. You know, you're a superstar. And, you know, there is no shame. There's absolutely nothing wrong in asking a Busiswa for advice. You know, there is no shame in asking a Deben Gogo, an Ayanda, or whoever it is, you know, that you look up to for advice. But the one thing that we cannot deny, right, when it comes to Amapiano, you know, on a much brighter note, is the contribution to where the culture is right now. You cannot deny style. You cannot deny, guys, like for the longest time, you know, yes, hip-hop cats would wear a snapback and Air Forces and, you know, baggy jeans. And fast forward to 2021, 2022, the Amapiano cats have taken style to the top. You know, everyone is shopping at Diamond Walk. Everyone is in the V-class. So, you know, that for me is really important. You know, just seeing how much it's contributed, right?
And influence.
And Aya, you know, the influence.
I'm seeing
Your opinion on it?
So many girls are all dressing exactly like Kamumpela.
Right?
And it's just beautiful.
Your mic?
We're all wearing crop tops because of Mandisa. I'm obsessed with crop tops now. Yeah.
So I think, you know, that's super important. But I want to know, right? For someone that has played such a big role in where Amapiano is right now, what are your plans? Where do you want to see Amapiano in the next, not even 5 years, Nje, the next year?
In the next year, we need to be on Billboard. Like, not Billboard, the chart, not Billboard African chart, Billboard
The extra.
100. Up there with everyone else. We need to, all the guys that are still in the hood, that are fine, just producing in their house, going to the gig, going back, they need to get on the plane, go overseas, go take their music. It can't just be the rest of us. We need more people to speak up, talk, be part of these conversations. We need empowerment. You know, piano's changed so many lives. People are able to feed their families. People are able to do so much. And I think a lot of the people in Amapiano don't realize how much more they can actually do, how much more of the pie they can bite off. The dreams are endless. It does not end here. If we don't all work together, we're not going to be able to export it the way that an Afrobeat has been able to export. We need every single player to come to the table and move with it.
And I'd like to make a brave prediction in addition to that answer. At this rate, we can have an Amapiano Grammy nomination by 2025 and a win by 2026.
If not sooner.
Nice.
If not sooner.
Nice.
If not
Exactly.
sooner. You know, I remember when Amapiano blew up, right? Like you said, you wake up you hear a song, the next day, every radio station is blasting a specific sound, right? The whole of 2021, there's no denying that Amapiano dominated the charts. But in that same breath, we've also had a lot of people that would talk about how, you know, the lifespan and how it's just a phase. It's a gimmick. It's not gonna last. And the one thing that I've loved about Amapiano is just seeing it grow. You know, outside of the sound, but the quality of the music. Where, you know, I always say that house music has some of the best songwriters, right? And then you look at people like Angelic. You know, you look at people like Young Stunner. And, you know, just the lyricism is insane. It is amazing. So what are your thoughts on sustaining Amapiano as, you know, not only just a genre, but a culture?
I think Amapiano penetrated the music industry without much help from any outside genres. It dominated the music industry without much help from other genres. I think it will be just fine maintaining itself without any help from other genres.
I like that. Aya?
I think from a business perspective, the one thing we're trying to do right now is kind of bring Amapiano into movie scoring, into series scoring. It's something that's very important for us, that drives longevity. If I'm watching Insecure on HBO and a Durban Gogo song plays, for example, it kind of makes sure that the lifespan of the music, of the genre, of the culture lives forever. But more so than that, it's kind of making sure that when we export talent outside of Africa or outside of SA, like Busiswa and Mandisa said, it's about collaboration. When Mandisa leaves the country and she goes to the UK, she's not going there to be in the background, right? Play a couple of songs and come back. She's actually going there as a pioneer of the Amapiano genre, and she's going to guide the creative process should, for example, a Tini Temper want to now come into Amapiano. So it's very important that both from a creative front, from a back-end front, we are in synergy in terms of how do we export the talent, how do we export the music. We can't sell the song without the dance, so how do we take both? We can't sell the song without the language because there's vocals, for example, right? There's a lot of catchphrases we use on social media because of Amapiano. I heard Lady Do song the first time because of Mandisa. She said, Wawa.
Wawa.
What? I said, that's amazing, right? And I spent a whole week saying that. And if you go on social media right now, people use that exact same catchphrase. Now, how do we export that without taking it away from the creator that actually made it? So for me, longevity for Amapiano is to make sure that we are in control, that we tell our stories, even if it's through the eyes of other people, we are still the ones that are scripting our story and not necessarily just taking part as a cast member and it's written by someone that's in Ghana right now. Yeah.
Gogo?
I think it's really disingenuous to say that Amapiano longevity is short-lived. There's so many different types of songs, different types of sounds. Literally, you can play Shesha Geza today. People will still lose their minds. we saw it was just on Black Panther. You know, literally how she's saying, longevity of music is by putting it in different spaces. Other people in the world are still discovering it. They hearing what's happening now. They still have to go back. We see from our algorithms, our things. I'm seeing Kuza Gogo is coming back in other territories. You're not gonna tell me that song is done. Someone in South Africa, I dropped the video the other day. Like a year later, we don't want to see that. It's not for you. Yeah. We have to still keep it moving. Amapiano is adapting faster than anything I've ever heard. And you're not going to tell me having someone like a Kabza or a Calvin that the music is short-lived. I played Calvin's album for my dad the other day. They were in, he is 70. Like, come on. There's so much. It's still going to get better.
You know, sitting here and, just listening to, one, how smart you women are. Oh, guys, I am super impressed. But I think it's only fair, seeing that we have a whole audience. We have amazing people who, have been reacting to everything that you guys have had to say. But I'm sure, they also have input nyana or even questions. I think it's only fair that we take a few. So do we have any questions from anyone in the audience? Okay, your hand went up first. Do you maybe want to come to the front?
Get the mic.
Thank you. Busi's was such a team player. Do you guys notice? Like she's just, mo.
Chonga.
To the lady in the back, what's your name and what's your question?
Hi, everyone. So I'm Miss LP. My question is, so I hear you speaking a lot about empowering other women and how the industry is less favorable when it comes to female DJs. I know you don't want to use that term, but I'm going to anyway. So I just want to know, and maybe it's because, maybe it might be a personal thing, maybe I'm not seeing it. What is the work that you feel that you've put in terms of putting other female DJs out there and putting them on the market and in terms of, putting them on the map? Because like I'm saying, it might be something that you're doing in the background, but personally, I'm not seeing enough work being done by female DJs that are currently really doing good things and basically assisting us, up-and-coming female DJs to basically get to where you guys are. Because we aspire to become who you are. But again, how do I, as a female DJ, especially up-and-coming, get to where you guys are right now? Thanks.
Can I go first? So, one, I started 11 years ago. And seeing Uncle Waffles, just flourish and do as well as she's doing in such a short space of time warms my heart, and I'll tell you why. Just because I suffered, it doesn't mean that the next upcoming DJ, who just so happens to be a woman, should go through the same thing, right? And I love your question, because we could all sit here and speak very big English. We can say what sounds right, because I know that that's what you want to hear. But the proof is in the pudding. And just like the work that I do for charity, I'm not going to post about it on social media because I'm not doing it for likes. I know, the amount of women that I empower, the amount of women that I put on. But I'm going to give you the perfect example of a DJ who is a woman, because again, I don't like the word female DJ. Judy J. You guys know who Judy J is, right? I find pride in knowing that I've contributed to her success. I find pride in knowing that, one, I've not only opened doors for her, but I'm just a phone call away when she needs help with either a contract, when she needs help with the promoter that is giving her issues. But again, the proof for me is in the pudding, so I know what I do. And there are so many women and men, who I've put on. So, yeah.
Can I just, before Deben Gogo, I don't want to answer the question. I'd really like for you to actually make some suggestions as well, if you don't mind, of what you would like to see, yeah?
I just wanted to touch on the point where you were talking about the Judy J. Lamiz could have done everything in her power to put her on, to help her get the platform, even winning the Diesel Freestyle, was it Freestyle Friday? Shortly after that, Judy had put out a statement to say that she was quitting DJing, quitting music. The industry essentially is also going to decide, are you going to succeed or you're not? Well, not even the industry, even yourself inside, you are going to make that conscious decision to fight every day. This is a fight every single day. It does not get easier. As much as you can get more popular, more successful, more money, it does not get easier. It is one of the worst places, actually. I won't even lie. The music industry is horrible. Yeah. Wait, hold on. Let me just finish. And like Lami said, there's so many things that we do behind closed doors. I can put you onto a gig. What you do with the gig or the relationship with the promoter after that, I can't be involved in, because essentially you must also forge your own path. Again, on top of that, your promoters and people are like the worst. The worst,
Every
the worst.
day, every day.
Yes, the worst, the worst. Like you'll say, this person is dope. They can mix, they're the best. But then when they see you, you don't look like, maybe not even, you don't look like your typical beautiful, whatever, more stylish, whatever, long hair. It's like, I'd rather put on another girl. I don't care if she can mix or whatever. She's going to sell me bottles in the club. Everything else. And that's what we all need to remember at the end of the day. What is the bottom line for a lot of it? Whether it is the labels, the whatever. Bottom line is this is the business at the end of the day. So how else do we turn that around? Is by getting people to invest and put money. That's how we'll be able to grow talent. And that's what we're actually trying to do. There's going to be a lot of really dope campaigns and things coming out this year. But it requires money. Money. But I promise you, it's going to change bit by bit. I mean, Zinhle had a whole school. She had to close it down. You know, every single thing is a barrier for women to put other women on. It's horrible.
Okay, cool.
I think sometimes we look at this issue as an artist issue, right? I'm not an artist, I promise. I think what's really important is the power that brands have when it comes to helping what you're talking about right now. So, for example, when I was head of MTV, what I made sure was I would never sponsor an event that didn't have a female in the lineup. It sounds stupid. Like, tick the box. Like, do you have a female in the lineup? Of course we have a female. And you're like, where is the female? Oh, damn, actually, maybe it's a vocalist. No, I want a DJ on the lineup that is a woman because we need representation, right? So it starts very small. And it may seem, and I say small because it may seem small, but it's got a very big impact in terms of the events that we do, how we scale those events. You know, can you imagine, for example, an ultra that is closed by a DJ that is a woman, and not necessarily a DJ Fresh, for example, or a Black Coffee, right? And it shouldn't be crazy for a Lamise to sit here and say, actually, I could be able to be in Ibiza when it's winter in SA because I'm that good. We shouldn't be able to question that. But we shouldn't always allocate artist issues to artists, because the truth is, music is not necessarily run by artists. The people in the background, they have the money, they have the means. We create the events, we sponsor the events, we tell artists what to play, when to play it. We do the lineup for the artists, right? So to kind of say, hey, Dylan Gogo and Lamise or Busiswa, what are you doing to put other females on? The question should be, what are brands doing? What's the industry doing, right? And the money that flows, is it really truly flowing to women DJs and bringing them back on board?
Aya, just in closing, right? I also think it's really important that you, as a DJ, as an artist, that you also take responsibility for your brand. Sadly, there's a sense of entitlement that, we see in our DMs, from people who feel that, we must put them on. And truth is, you live in an era of social media. You live in an era where that is such a powerful tool, where if you are dope and you've invested in your brand and you've invested in your craft, and, earlier on you mentioned Uncle Waffles and how it took a 20-second video, for her to blow up. It is your responsibility to invest in yourself, in your brand, in how you look, in how you sound, in what you put out on social media. If you have music or you're a DJ, it starts with you playing at the local club in your area. It starts with you, because, see, that's the problem. A lot of you see what we do now, and you think it happened overnight. And it took me 11 years to get to where I am. But you're so privileged because you have the power of social media. You have the power of a smartphone where you could take a beautiful picture with your phone and market yourself, because you are a walking billboard for your business. So yes, it is important for people like us to help those that are, coming up, but it is more important for you to put the work in, because this is your brand. Are we good? Good. Next question.
I'm sorry, Busiso actually asked for suggestions, if I may, if you don't mind.
Oh, yeah, that's
I think the first thing is I understand completely what you're saying, and I agree with it. And I think even me just putting myself out there, coming here, actually addressing you guys, saying, what are you doing? Already that's me putting myself out there.
100%.
That's me risking my brand. That's the first thing. One of the other questions that one of my friends was actually asking is, at times, you've got sort of music and you want to put yourself out there. Sometimes all we need is just guidance. It's not even me saying to you, please put me out there or please drop my name. I'm just saying, how do I move? So I've got the branding, I have the willingness as well. But just advise something, you know what I mean? I don't necessarily think that it's entitlement always. I think at times you've really tried. And now when we reach out to you, it's basically just saying, I really have tried, but is there something, that one thing, just those nuggets, something, give me something that I can kind of work with, because you've been there, you know what to expect. And
exactly.
Sometimes if you can just understand, it really doesn't come from a place of entitlement. Sometimes it's just me saying, I'm really desperate, and all I need from you is just give me a word of advice. That's it.
It's literally, you have access to any female DJ you can think of in South Africa at the moment. Send a considerate, well-written message asking a directed question. If Deben Gogo gets a message from yourself, for example, saying, Deben Gogo, I also play my piano, please put me on. Oh, please, forget. Do you understand? Deben Gogo, how do you assemble vocalists? Which studio do you use to record your singles? Do you know of any studios taking upcomers for studio time? Deben Gogo, where do you register your songs? Deben Gogo, do you have a makeup artist every time you go out, or did you learn to do your own makeup like this? You understand? Deben Gogo, how did you get such nice social media? She'll probably tell you, you know what? If you're at a varsity, there's probably another creative, probably in the room, that's got a camera. They want to take pictures. You want a DJ. Another one wants to sing. Do you understand? It's so easy to answer questions that are asked. Do not expect, though, anybody to write you a proposal, a presentation, to read your 45-page business plan, to answer to your 3-attachment email with annexure A, B, and C. Do you understand? Like, simplify. You can't learn everything at once anyway. But if you feel like there's a very specific... Deben Gogo, who are the best entertainment lawyers in Joburg that you know of? She might be in a mood to be like, actually, look up, go to Samro, they can assist. Is it you know what I mean? Like, you can't get answers to questions that are not asked. And unfortunate as it is, you most likely won't get a hand up. But when you are so directed, concise, consistent, and even considerate, to not even feel like, if you have 30 minutes, can you please listen to my mixtape?
Exactly.
Hey, 30 minutes! It's like, busy. But you know what? If you have on your page a 30-second reel, check out my reel on Insta, killed my gig this weekend. Do you know what I might do? I might just check out your reel on Insta. Exactly. Do you understand?
Thank you so much.
Next question. Your hand was up second.
Good evening.
Got such an amazing voice.
Thank you. Kalebo. Shout out for such a great conversation, firstly. This was really insightful. But the one question that I do have, though, is that Gqom was huge. Still is. It's still really big in some parts of the country, you know. What did Amapiano do differently? So much so that it stayed. It was still, you know, like, it's international, you know. So what did Amapiano do so differently that Gqom didn't necessarily do, whereas it did have the same potential?
I honestly feel like Amapiano has just constantly shocked and surprised us because there's just something new. There's something new all the time.
I think,
and that is exciting. Like they're not stuck in the same place. The songs don't all sound the same, and I might be wrong, but in my opinion, I think that's what started happening at Gqom. Where now you can't even tell the difference between this song and the past 3 songs because it's monotonous. It all sounds the same. Whereas Amapiano it just keeps on evolving. There's just so many different sub-genres within Amapiano. So I think, I might be wrong, but Hoya Kanna, that's what Amapiano got right.
I think what I was saying, timing. It was a cycle. Music comes in cycles. Just like people saying, oh, hip-hop fell off. Hip-hop is still there. Like Aya said also, we had time. People were in their homes. They had time to listen. And then also what Lami said, there were no gatekeepers. It was open industry. Also, ultimately, the fans, the kids decided. The kids were like, no, that's what we want. All the time, every day, piano, all the time. And yeah, it's time.
It's a time thing, yeah. We could go on. Like, we could go on and on and on and on. And unfortunately, I've just been told that we need to wrap it up. But a big shout out to you guys. A big shout out to the fact that you came out. And again, it is because of people like you. Because of people like you. Because of people like you. That Amapiano is where and what it is right now. And it is up to us, each and every one of us, to not only protect it, but to do our part in making sure that the rest of the world recognizes that Amapiano is ours and ours to keep. That Amapiano is ours and it is our story to tell. By us, for us, from Mo to the world. Right? In closing, I just want to thank you ladies so much for your time. Thank you for the big English that you guys were speaking. There was words, I'm just like, I don't know that word, but I can't jump isa. So big shout out to you guys, just for taking time out and sharing, your bit of knowledge with everyone that is sitting in this room, everyone who is willing to learn, everyone who is willing to listen. But also a big shout out to Ballantine's and Boiler Room. A big shout out to them. Like I said earlier on, your lash. Guys, my lash, it got stuck. Anyway, like I said earlier on, this is the first part of a 10-day program. A 10-day program that was curated. So for more info, please follow Durban Gogo, follow Boiler Room, follow Ballantines. Let's just have a good time. Let's drink responsibly. Let's have safe sex. Let's take care of ourselves. But most importantly, when a woman says no, no means no. We're out.